A memorial service gathering in Bogalusa ends with 13 people shot, and now authorities are trying to track down those people who are responsible for it. Mike McDaniel's joining us live from where those shootings happened with what police are saying about it. Mike?
Hey, Katie, yeah, police tape is still up here along Martin Luther King Drive near the intersection of 4th Street where that gathering happened behind me. Police describe this scene as chaos, and with 13 people shot, it's a miracle no one was killed. As we start to learn more details about this case, the sheriff here in Washington Parish says he's pretty confident as to how it's all connected. So here's what we know. Police say this shooting happened Saturday night during or near the end of a memorial for Dominic James, who was recently killed. Police say there were hundreds of people at this gathering, which they started getting calls about before the shootings ever happened. But with only 5 officers working that night, they were unable to break up the crowd. We're told more than 50 shell casings were found here at the scene from multiple caliber handguns, indicating a lot of gunfire. Police do believe there were multiple shooters involved. The victims, 12 men and 1 woman, range in age from 22 to 45. We're told at least 1 is in critical condition. Now take a listen to what the sheriff had to say a little earlier about what he believes it's all connected to.
Too much crime is going on in Bogalusa. Too many drugs are being sold in Bogalusa. And you can mark it back. That's what this is all about. It's about drugs, it's about meanness, it's about sin.
And I spoke with Dominic James's mother a little earlier in the day, and she tells me that her son's death is not directly connected to these shootings as authorities are making it out to be. Police are calling this gathering illegal. No permit was issued, no permission given, nor would there have been any permits or permission because of the current COVID-19 crisis. Now, we are told that those organizers could face some charges because police say that they should bear some type of responsibility. Federal, state, local agencies all involved in this case now, but so far no arrests have been made. Live from Bogalusa, Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.